Welcome to The Explainer. I'm so incredibly pumped you're here today. Because look, we're about to completely dismantle almost everything you thought you knew about business success. Seriously, get ready to have your perspective totally shifted. Today, we're unpacking some massive concepts from entrepreneur and investor Peter Thiel. We're diving into his arguments on innovation, competition, and what he believes it actually takes to build a lasting monopoly. If you've ever felt like you're just, spinning your wheels following the standard advice, well, you're in exactly the right place.
So, what if everything you know about business is just fundamentally wrong? Let that hang for a second. Most of us are taught this very specific, almost rigid formula for success, right? Work harder than the next guy, study what already works, copy it, and just try to make it a tiny bit better. But according to the framework we're analyzing today, that is actually the absolute perfect recipe for staying completely average. The argument here is that if you're just mimicking the crowd, you aren't building the future at all. You're just adding more noise to the present.
Section 1. Going from 0 to 1. Okay, let's dive right into this. To really grasp how world-altering progress actually happens, we have to look at this core concept that separates the imitators from the true creators. Basically, human progress takes one of two directions. On one hand, you've got horizontal progress, or going from 1 to n. This is simply copying things that already work. Like if you see a thriving restaurant downtown and decide, hey, I'm going to open another restaurant just like it in my neighborhood. That's 1 to n. It's an incremental improvement. But on the flip side, we have vertical progress, and this is going from 0 to 1. This means doing something that has literally never been done before in the history of the world. Inventing a brand new technology that completely redefines how we live, that's 0 to 1. The massive takeaway here? The biggest fortunes and honestly the most exciting futures are built through vertical progress. The future belongs to the creators, not the imitators.
Section 2. Competition is for losers. Now, what's really interesting about this comparison is that it brings us to arguably the most controversial, completely counterintuitive idea in this entire explainer, the concept that competition is actually for losers. I know, at first glance that sounds totally ridiculous, right? We're practically brainwashed to think competitive markets are the ultimate good. But look at the airline industry. It is fiercely competitive, and what does that mean? Prices fall, margins shrink down to almost nothing, and every airline basically becomes the exact same thing in the eyes of the flyer. Most of them struggle to even turn a decent profit. Now contrast that chaotic mess with a unique monopoly. Because a monopoly offers a product or service that literally nobody else can provide, they hold all the pricing power. They generate massive profits. They aren't out there fighting over pennies. According to this philosophy, the ultimate goal isn't to enter a competition and win. It's to build something so unimaginably unique that competition itself becomes completely irrelevant.
Section 3. How to build a monopoly.
So that brings us to a word that usually makes people, well, a little uncomfortable. Monopoly. You hear that word and probably picture some massive evil corporation crushing the little guy. But for our purposes today, we really need to redefine monopoly in a positive way. We're talking about a phenomenal business that creates such a strong, unique advantage that it just cannot be easily replaced. So, how do you actually pull that off? The source material lays out 4 critical pillars. First up, proprietary technology. Your tech can't just be good. It has to be dramatically, undeniably better than any alternative out there. Second, network effects. This means your product actually becomes more valuable to the user as more people hop on board and start using it. Think of how a telephone network works. Third, economies of scale. Simply put, the bigger your company gets, the cheaper it becomes to operate per unit. And fourth, strong branding. You need to create an identity that customers instantly recognize and implicitly trust. Now, here's the real secret sauce. The absolute strongest companies do not try to serve everyone all at once. No way. They start small, they completely dominate a very specific niche using these 4 pillars, and only then do they expand outward.
Section 4. The power of secrets. Once you wrap your head around the mechanics of a monopoly, you really have to adopt the mindset required to discover one. It's all about gaining access to hidden knowledge. So, I have a question for you. What important truth do very few people agree with you on? Just pause for a beat and really think about that. It's a surprisingly difficult question to answer honestly, isn't it? But answering this specific question is presented as the absolute ground zero, the starting point of literally every single great company ever built. So why is that question so incredibly important? Well, because it reveals a secret. And in this context, a secret is a deep insight or a massive hidden opportunity that everyone else just hasn't recognized yet. Most people just walk around assuming that all the great ideas have already been discovered, like the frontier is totally closed. But Thiel argues that is just fundamentally false. Hidden opportunities are literally everywhere. The challenge is just having the clarity to actually see them. Think about it. If everyone around you already agrees that your idea is great, it's probably nowhere near revolutionary enough. True entrepreneurs intentionally train themselves to spot the hidden truths that the rest of the world entirely misses. And then, they use those very secrets as the bedrock for their innovation.
So the crucial point here is that once you've unlocked your secret, your very next steps basically determine your destiny. The beginning of a company matters so much more than most people even realize. A startup's earliest decisions will literally shape its entire future. We are talking about the foundational stuff, choosing the right co-founders, clearly defining ownership so there aren't fatal company-ending disputes later on, establishing a functional culture, and making sure everyone's incentives are aligned. It's exactly like building a skyscraper. The whole structure absolutely depends on the integrity of its concrete foundation. A weak foundation is going to inevitably create massive structural problems down the line, whereas a rock-solid one will support exponential growth for years and years.
All right, we need to take a second to bust a really pervasive and, honestly, super dangerous myth. It's this idea that if you just build an amazing product, it will somehow magically sell itself. Let me be clear. It will not. A phenomenally successful company absolutely must master both product, which is what you create, and distribution, which is how you actually sell and deliver it to the world. Without killer distribution, literally nobody will ever know your genius product even exists. But on the flip side, without a genuinely spectacular product, all the clever marketing and distribution in the world is eventually going to crash and burn. You just cannot rely on innovation alone. People have to actually discover, understand, and adopt the thing you've created. You have to be exceptional at both sides of the coin.
Section 5. Creating the future. All of this, the 0 to 1 leaps, the hunting for secrets, the intense focus on distribution, it all culminates in how founders must look at the world at large. It requires a very specific worldview and a stubborn commitment to taking highly intentional action. And this brilliantly illustrates how people generally view the future, broken down into 4 distinct quadrants. First, you've got your indefinite pessimists. They think the future is going to be terrible, but they have absolutely no idea what to do about it. Then, you have definite pessimists. They also think it's going to be rough, but they believe they can at least plan for the decline. Then there are the indefinite optimists, who just vaguely assume things will get better somehow, magically, without any real effort on their part. But the real magic, that happens in the 4th quadrant, the definite optimist. These people believe the future will be significantly better, specifically because we are going to roll up our sleeves and intentionally build it. Wildly successful founders are definite optimists. They absolutely do not sit around waiting for luck to strike. They create concrete plans and they relentlessly execute them.
As we start bringing all these powerful concepts together, let's just quickly summarize the first half of the key takeaways we've explored today. Number 1, always aim to create, instead of merely copying what's already out there. Number 2, actively avoid unnecessary competition. Remember, competition is for losers. Number 3, dedicate yourself to building something genuinely unique. Number 4, cultivate independent thinking. Don't just blindly follow the herd. And number 5, always be on the hunt for those hidden opportunities, those valuable secrets that everyone else is just walking right past.
And rounding out our top 10 takeaways, number 6, be a definite optimist and make concrete long-term plans. Number 7, master both your product and your distribution, treating them equally. Number 8, keep a relentless focus on vertical innovation, that 0 to 1 leap. Number 9, start small, completely dominate a very specific niche, and then expand from a position of undeniable strength. And finally, number 10, take an active, bold role in building the future instead of just passively waiting for it to happen to you. Ultimately, technology and innovation are the primary drivers of progress. They are what allow humanity to do more with less, solving our biggest problems and wildly expanding our potential.
Which leaves us with one final, absolutely vital thought. The question isn't what will the future look like, as if you're just some passive observer sitting in the audience. The real question, the one you should be asking yourself right this very second, is what can I build that helps create that future? Look, going from one to many might grow a pretty decent business, but going from 0 to 1, that can literally change the world. The future belongs entirely to those who step up and build it. I really hope this explainer has sparked some incredible ideas for you today. Keep searching for those secrets, keep building, and I will see you next time.